If your plan is just to release music and hope that everyone hears it, or not even that, if you just release music and you just feel like everyone's going to hear it because it's a great song, people just like good music, this is why it's not working for you. See, going viral is not a plan. Releasing a song that lands in a really popular playlist is not a plan. I believe there's 5 pillars to creating your music life cycle. And if you do all these things in the right order, then you're going to set yourself up for success and you can stop just hoping for the best. Let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Craig Honeysett. This is From Musician to Artist. This podcast is for people who want to become a recognized music artist. So wherever you are right now, you just want to go up that next couple of levels to be that recognized music artist. So if that is you, welcome. Today I want to talk about what I believe are the 5 pillars of being a successful music artist. So we want to get away from just releasing music and hoping that it all works, hoping that we find that manager, hoping that we land that festival slot, that playlist, whatever it is that we're kind of waiting to happen. We want to get rid of that and we want to set up these 5 pillars, which actually means we're in control of where we go and we can get the wheels turning and get better and better at these 5 pillars to actually get us where we want to go. So hoping to go viral, that's a sucky plan, to be honest. It's actually not a plan. It's just a hope. And we can do better than that. We can do better. So the 5 pillars are, let me hit them real quick and then I'm going to go into depth. Branding and vision, and then playing your music live, performance. Then you go songwriting, recording, release, and promotion. So you got to nail those 5 main pillars. And then what happens is when you get to the end of that, you release, you promote, you go back to the drawing board with your brand and your vision. And you say, okay, what's our next thing? Where's our next direction? Here's all the things we learned. What are we going to do with that? And take it to our next thing. And then you're playing more live shows, you're touring your old stuff, you're writing more songs, you're recording again, and then you're releasing again, and then you're revisiting it. So it is a cycle. But if you're leaving one of these things off, that's probably why you're stuck right now. Maybe you're not writing great songs. Maybe you don't have a good release strategy. Maybe you don't have your brand and your vision sorted out. Maybe you're not playing live shows, or you're not playing live shows well, or as well as you could be, or whatever the other one is, recording. Maybe your home recordings aren't good enough. Sorting that out and getting those 5 pillars nice and strong is what's going to take you up and up in the music industry. I really, really believe that. So let's chat about the first one, branding and vision. So this is about defining who you are as an artist, who you want to be as an artist, and then making that solid so that people can see that. So I'm actually going to talk about this a heap next week. We're going to create a fan avatar, which is about finding your fan, and finding your fan really helps you define who you are as an artist. Our temptation with branding and vision is to just go, I want all the things. I want to be like Morgan Wallen because everyone loves him. So we kind of go, let's leave it open. I want to make sure young singles like me. I want to make sure old marrieds like me. I want to make sure if they're in the city, they love me. If they're in the country, they love me. We just want to create music for everyone. But what that does is makes us really, really weak in the industry because we don't stand out as anything. We just look like everything, which is nothing. It's a crazy paradox. I've actually got to nail that down. So that's a bit of branding, like who are you actually, so that when people see you straight away, they know what you're about and they know whether they want to buy in or not. And that means that the people that do buy in hard. You're not just dabbling. You actually can create super fans because you've got a clear message that someone believes in and they buy into. So branding, super, super important. It seems like we think it's about logos and colors and graphic design, but it's so much more than that. It's actually communicating who you are, what you're about, so that your fans can engage with that and know what they're buying into, and it makes them want to buy into it. I feel like I've said that 3 or 4 times in different ways just then. And then you've got vision. So where are you actually wanting to go? And once you've got some vision, you can reverse engineer that. Again, like a really broad vision that a lot of people have is just like, I want to do this full time. Well, what does that look like? Does that mean an album a year? Does that mean, how many shows is that? What sort of income is that? What fan base do you require to get that? How many streams do you need to get that? So if we can go more specific than I just want to do this full time, I'm just passionate about music, I've always wanted to do it. We hear all the things, but what's your actual vision? What does success look like to you? And what are the steps that you need to take to get to that success? We're going to talk about more of this on the channel. There's heaps of this on the channel already. I'm going to unpack vision and branding a lot this year because I think it's super, super important. The next one is playing live. So this one is kind of probably where we start, I think. Maybe you play a talent show at your school or whatever, you start getting those gigs at the pubs, whatever it is, performing your music. And this is kind of one of those 10,000 hours things. You've got to do it a lot to get comfortable with it and to feel it, and you learn and you grow from that. But being successful is about being intentional about that and making those things count. So I think performance is really solid rehearsals in your own time with your band or with whoever you play with live, having like just really flexing and growing that muscle of performance so that you know how to read a crowd, you know how to play the songs without thinking about them anymore, all those things. And then that can develop into creating a really good live show where you talk about the flow of your set lists, the dynamics that you bring, the way that you speak to the crowd, your choreography, all those things can kind of grow as a part of live performance. So that's one thing that each time you go through this cycle, you can just grow and develop. But super important that your pillar of performance is strengthened and growing all the time. Obviously, in this whole chain, you can't miss out on performance because your fans want to see you. The next thing is songwriting. So some of us do this well, some of us struggle with this. It's great now, especially in the country music scene, where you can collab with people. So you can input a little bit of songwriting with 2 or 3 great songwriters and get a good song out of it. But it's something that you want to grow. I think the aim is to be writing your own songs. It's awesome if you can get in some writes with some other writers as well. So maybe 3 of you write a song and somebody else cuts it. And then that comes back to you sometimes. So songwriting is something you really want to be doing well and getting better and better and better at. And each time through this cycle, you should be writing better songs. There's a little bit few alarm bells if your best songs were 5 years ago and you can't do it anymore. So we've got to, obviously, as a music artist, we want to be flexing that pillar. What can we do to be making our songwriting better? This channel is full of songwriting advice, and I've got tons more coming as well. The next one is recording your music. So for some people, this is easy because they've got a great producer. They can just rock up and the producer takes care of it. For some of us, we're trying to record that ourselves because it's expensive to record with other people. But again, you know the difference between a good recording and a bad recording. You can hear on a playlist when the recording kind of is lower, and it really puts a big dent on your music and on your artistry. So we were traveling the other day from the Tamworth Country Music Festival, me and Phil, and we had like an Australian playlist on in the car. And some songs sounded so banging, and you could just hear when it got to the artist that wasn't quite with the others. And you know, some of that's recording technique, some of that's your producer, there's so many factors in recording, but that's one of the pillars that you just need to get really strong with, because it's kind of your face in music. Like, we listen to music with our ears. There's so many visuals and whatever, but at the core of it is the song, and how that song is reproduced to be consumed is super, super important. Again, lots of stuff on this channel about recording, but that is something that each time you do, you get better and better at, and you find different people to do it. Maybe next time you get a better guitarist, or you get a tighter drummer, or you get a better producer, or you've just learned how to sing better, or you understand the tools better. So we can just grow that, but super important part of the pillar. And the fifth and final one, which we all focus on a fair bit, but sometimes not effectively, or sometimes we don't do it, or sometimes we do it too much, and that is release and promotion. So I firmly believe that, again, with practice, you get better at releasing. Your first release, you make a ton of mistakes. It's just hard work. You get better at it because you can look back and go, well, that worked, that didn't. That took heaps of time but didn't get a lot of result. That one I just chucked together in 2 minutes, but it seemed to do better than everything else. So you can kind of learn promotion, but it's a super, super important part of it. And I think releasing is more than the hype. So a lot of times with release, we hype up, I've got something coming, going to drop this Friday, I've got an announcement tomorrow, all that stuff. But then when the song comes out, we kind of don't promote it anymore. I think there's a missed opportunity when a song comes out to really push it and promote it. But definitely, like, heaps of stuff, again, on this channel about promoting your music. But that's the fifth pillar. And then when you get back to the start, you go, well, that's done. I've written the songs, recorded the songs, released the songs, performed the songs to my brand, to my vision, to my audience. So now what's my next direction? Am I going to release another single? Am I going to pivot a little bit? Are we going to try and get different festivals this year? Where's our branding and where's our vision? And then you kind of redo that, and then you're performing again. But this time with your performance, you're touring some of your old songs that you released in your last cycle. You're writing new songs that'll be in your next cycle, and you just go through. So these 5 pillars, if you set them up, you can stop just releasing music and hoping for the best. And you can actually start working on these 5 things so that your release is stronger and you've got a bit of a plan. Once you release, that plan is lining up with that vision that you set up a couple of months beforehand. It's lining up with that performance that you're doing, those festival gigs that you're doing. It's lining up with the songwriting that you're doing. It's lining up with the way that you're recording your music. So you've got a plan so that when it does go viral, much more of a chance of, if it's good, then you're ready for it. You can land on it. The last thing you want actually is to go viral but not know how you did it. I've seen that happen to some people. We see it a bunch of times on Australian Idol or whatever. The winner, like, where are they? Because they didn't have the foundations underneath to be able to carry the success of virality. So you want to go viral. Absolutely, you want to go viral, but that can't be your plan without having these other things planned, is my hot take. So tell me, what do you need to focus on? Which one of those 5 pillars do you feel like is your weakest? Which is your strongest? Why don't you comment in the comments? Or put a comment in. What do you think you need to work on the most? Which one of these are you kind of glossing over, skipping over, pretending it doesn't exist, didn't know it existed, or maybe just you're not great at it, so you focus on the other things? Which one of these pillars do you need to work on? Chuck that in the comments for me. I'm actually really interested to know. And if I can help you at all, reach out to me. I do some coaching. If you want help with any of these pillars, I can give you a hand with that. I've also got a little printout, little PDF that you can just stick up on your wall just to remind you about this. I've got it as a lock screen as well. There's a link below, you can grab that. Just go to frommusiciantoartist.com, because like I said, a plan to hope is not a plan. So let's do some actual planning to make sure we can go where we want to as an artist. I'm Craig Honeysett from Musician to Artist, podcast just to help you go to the next level with your music. See you next time.